This is the Our Voice 360 podcast, our perspectives, our way, keeping you in the know while you're on the go. This podcast was created with you in mind. On Our Voice 360, we'll give you inspiration, sports, business and leadership tips, Black history, and entertainment. This is a show built from our perspectives. So if you're ready to be entertained, inspired, laugh a little, be informed, and enlightened, tune in now to Our Voice 360. Let's go! Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Our Voice 360, our perspectives, our ways. I'm your man, Chad Bumgarner, and I got with me my co-host, Pete Hunt. What's up, Pete?
Good? What's good, family? Everybody good today? I certainly hope so.
Hey, well, you know what it is, man. Let's go ahead and run it.
And as always, our podcast is brought to you by Elect Graphics and Photography. Allow your visions to become reality. And CDB Consulting. Great leadership equals great results. How are you leading?
And also, folks, if you have something that you want us to talk about, something you want to hear, what you like about the show or don't like, or anything of the sort, please don't hesitate to contact us at our email address, ourvoice360@gmail.com. That's ourvoice360@gmail.com. All right. Today, we're talking about the NBA Finals and the Olympics. We're going to kind of lump those two together. But before we jump into that, we want to jump into the topic now, basically nobody wanting to work. Now that I know here in Atlanta, well, here in Georgia where I am, the governor has cut the unemployment benefits from the federal aspect. So now you're only getting the state and not state and federal. And he did that in hopes of, encouraging or spurring people to go back to work. But I'm not sure if it's working now. He made a report that it was, but we'll get right into that. So let's those are the two topics we're discussing. So we're gonna jump right into the work issue. So Pete, like I said, here in Georgia, the governor here has cut the unemployment benefits from the federal aspect. So now you're only getting,
Right.
just the state. So that's roughly maybe a little over 300 a week.
Right.
So with that being said, he's hoping that just getting that will, kind of egg people on to getting back to work, finding jobs. But you got a lot of people out here, man, that do not want to go back to work, meaning physically. You know what I'm saying? And then you got some people that don't want to go back at all because of COVID or, whatever the case is. And just like what you're saying, where you are, I'm seeing signs in fast food restaurant everywhere, pretty much saying, now hiring all shifts or, all positions, and everybody's, moving towards the $15 per hour, deal thing now, to where before a lot of businesses said they can't or they won't. I remember that when that was first talked about. Now it seems to be like, hey, we're paying this on an hourly basis. We're hiring off shifts, come in and see us. But, you've got a lot of millennials that either don't want to go back to work, or it's like, look, I'll work, but I'll work from home. I'm not coming back into the office. You know as well as I do that a lot of that has to deal with COVID. People just do not want to take their chance. And at first I was kind of iffy about that because I'm thinking, you're spoiled, but it has you don't know what people's underlying conditions are, and whether they have the vaccine or not, that's right now that's totally their call. But depending on their health and their underlying conditions or whatever they have going on, maybe that's the best route for them to stay healthy and to stay safe, is to be at home. So at first I didn't think about it like that, but once you sit down and reflect on why people are demanding things like that. 'Cause I'm like, come on, how do you not have a job and you're going to demand, but I get it now. I mean, it makes sense, but it's really causing the work industry period, regardless of what specific industry, just work in general, to really change how they look at the normal, 9 to 5 job day. It's completely different. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. like you're in Georgia, I'm in North Carolina. So, and we were talking about a lot of these companies, and now are to the point are so desperate that they're starting with signs outside of their businesses saying we'll start you off at $15-18 an hour up to X amount of dollars. And in North Carolina, furniture is still really big in North Carolina. And I passed a furniture company, furniture plant the other day, and not only were they starting you out at $18 an hour for basically an entry job, they were paying you a $5,000 sign-on bonus on top of that if you work like 90 days.
Right.
You get, I mean, so it's become that desperate for these companies. And Chad, I mean, the generation like our parents, us, our generation, we were like, look, we were taught, hey, you just go to work. If you're going to college, you're going to work. And if you do go to college, once you get out of college, you just go to work.
That's it.
The young people today, they're like, nah, we're not going to do that unless you pay us X, Y, and Z. And now even people of our generation are have that mindset now too of, okay, we just come out of this pandemic, you need to pay me my worth, what I think I deserve to be paid. And it's a blessing and a curse. It's a curse to the businesses because they can't get people to come in, but it's also a blessing because we know now that these companies all along could have paid people these at least a living wage.
You know what, Pete? It's almost an insult because I look at it like this. It's like you're working somewhere for a while and you're trying to get a promotion, and they, for some reason, they won't promote you or they can't promote you, whatever the reason is. After a few years, it's like, you know what? In order for me to grow, I gotta go. Right. So you put in your notice, you found another opportunity where you're able to advance, or it's a promotion, and you put in your 2 weeks notice or whatever, and then all of a sudden now it's like, okay, well, we can offer you an extra week of vacation. We can offer you $7-10 more an hour. We can offer you this. In my mind, in my opinion, now I'm really pissed because you could have given me this before. Yeah, my work has not changed. My work has always been great.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, you couldn't promote or you couldn't move me up or whatever the case is. But now I threatened to leave, and it's like, now I can get all the things that I was asking for and then some because I threatened. You can keep it.
Yeah, it's a slap. It's a slap in the face, man. And it's total disrespect. And now we've gone through and still going through a pandemic, and folk are realizing what their worth is. They were like, nah, I'm not coming back to this job. I'm not going to that job for $8, $9, $10 an hour. No, that's not even a living wage. If you can't pay me $18, $20 an hour, I mean, what are we talking about?
What are we talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. And now these companies are in a bind because they can't find people to work. And I mean, some places are, big, like restaurants, the McDonald's and things of that sort, they're closed. They have to close their doors early because they don't have enough people to cover their shifts.
But it's almost like that pandemic, even though it was really catastrophic, the way it just swept through the entire world, it was also a reflection moment. You know what I'm saying? Being cooped up in the house or at least on your own property for so many days. It was a real reflection moment because that was the period, especially coming out of it now, where you've got more new business owners than ever because people just sat back and reflected, like, you know what? I'm really tired of the rat race. I want something for myself. I was just listening to the radio the other day, and on the news channel, it was talking about how so many more entrepreneurs have been birthed out of this epidemic. You know what I'm saying? Because they were just so tired of work or having to depend on work, and because people were being laid off in droves, you know what I'm saying? Because of bad quarters that the companies were reporting or making. So a lot of people have turned into entrepreneurs and are doing very well. So that's another reason why a lot of people aren't coming back, because they've turned entrepreneurs as like, you know what? if I'm going to live this life, I'm going to live it on my terms, and my
Right.
success or failure is going to be on me and not dependent on a company who only looks at a bottom line.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
honestly, I wish I could have been one of those few that could have come up with a great business plan to do that. It's still not too late, obviously, but I'm just saying it was a reflection moment for a lot of people.
Hmm.
And then also it allowed us to see some things that normally we wouldn't see on a
Exactly.
normal basis. For instance, not to get off topic, but the George Floyd incident, and that kind
Hmm.
of awakened the world to um, uh, a government and a police system, not only here but around the world.
Hmm.
Uh, it just allowed us to really wake up because we were so used to being the hamster on the wheel, and we get
Right.
up, we go to work. I mean, we get up, we get our coffee, we watch a few minutes of the news just to see what's going on. Then we get in our cars and we go to work.
Hmm.
Had that situation happened while it was a regular day, I don't think it would have got much play. But getting back to the working aspect, the pandemic allowed a lot of us to open our eyes and figure out how we wanted to take our lives into our own hands, and a lot of people did that by
Hmm.
entrepreneurship. So these
Hmm.
companies today that are struggling, that's one of the biggest reasons why. But again, like what you said too, seeing a lot of the companies now that are upping their salary, it's like,
Hmm.
wow, you could have did this last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago,
Oh
but you
yeah.
wait till now.
Hmm.
Now that you're struggling, now you want to sweeten the pot. So
Hmm.
it's like in one aspect, it is kind of an insult, but then again, it's also an opportunity for
Hmm.
some people to jump in and be like, hey,
Hmm.
let me get in while I can and make the most of this situation. It's just another way to look at it. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also, we were talking before the podcast, talking about a lot of people during this pandemic has become accustomed from working from home,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
working remotely.
Right, right.
And we were talking about now people are looking at business and looking at work totally different now,
Mm-hmm.
because can we have hybrid days? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Where
Mm-hmm.
we come into the office, say, uh 2 or 3 days out of the week, and then we can work from home 2 or 3 days out of the week. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So have hybrid weeks now, where I can spend a little time at the office and spend time at home at work, because of a lot of people. I know a lot of people that I've talked to and conversed with, that they were more productive
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah.
They're more productive at home because you don't have to deal with the drama of work and supervisors over your shoulder and this, that, and the third, and you could just sit down and get your work done in a timely fashion. And a lot of times your day was over with sooner than it would be in your office.
But you know what? Not only that though, Pete, it also allowed for flexibility too.
Yes,
Because
yes.
you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because some people may not be morning people, some people may not be, afternoon people or whatever have you.
Hmm.
So it's like, hey, I can start my day at 10 and go to 6 or 7 and
Hmm.
be okay. And then some people like I can start my day at 7 and be done at 3 or whatever, and
Right.
still, work it out and find a way to, saying get your work done. And plus it allows for, any kind of pop-ups. And what I mean by pop-ups is like, for instance, I have kids, I'm
Hmm.
saying, young kids. So if I'm working at home and I'm doing something and I get a text or a call from the school, hey, your daughter is running a fever, or hey, she forgot her lunch, or whatever. It's nothing
Hmm.
for me to reach out to my boss or my team. Hey guys, I got to step out for 30 minutes. I got to run through ABC. I'll be back. And it's no
Right.
problem. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Or if the plumber's coming, or the
Hmm.
cable guy, or somebody's coming to fix something on the roof or whatever, you're
Hmm.
here so that you can,
Right.
you're just here for them in case they have any kind of questions, and you can still get your work done. So it allows for a lot of flexibility, which people find very, very valuable. Very
Hmm.
valuable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And honestly, people that are working remotely, companies get more out of them than they would being at the job physically. Because think about this: when you have your laptop, desktop, whatever it is you're working on, you're
Hmm.
more apt to work more hours. Why? Because it's close to you. I
Right.
mean, for instance, it's like
Right.
I mean, I can walk away and go get a cup of coffee, come back, and let's say, for instance, it's 4 o'clock or 4:30, time for me to wrap up. I'll wrap up, whatever. I may come back later on that evening. Let me check these emails and see what people are saying, because I don't want to come in the next morning to a blank storm. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
So a lot of people tend to work after hours because it's convenient. It's right there. I can just run down the hall to the office or downstairs, check some emails, whatever. So sometimes companies are getting more out of you than what they normally would at work, because at work you have a set time that you come in and a set time that you leave.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So come 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm packing up. I'm getting out of here so I can beat traffic. Or come 7:30, 8 o'clock, I'm here so I can go ahead and get started. But at home, you can start earlier or later. You can work. You can stay later, or whatever have you. So they really tend to get a lot out of you working remotely.
Oh yeah, but again, I think it it boils down as far as people not going to work, or the worker shortage that's going on right now. It basically boils down, what are you going to pay me? Because if you're not willing to pay me, somebody's willing to pay me.
Somebody is, yeah.
Somebody's willing to pay me. So I think the top reason is financial, and then after that you can talk about remote and
flexibility,
convenient, flexibility, all that other stuff.
But that's to me that's the new gold. That's the new gold. GOLD, gold. That's the new gold. Flexibility. People value that. I'm not gonna say as much as money, but it's right up there.
Oh yeah. You know
what I'm saying? Because
for sure.
With the pandemic, a lot of companies have had to learn how to adjust on the fly, and a lot of them have been successful in doing so, to the detriment that a lot of employees are like, "Hey, I want to stay remote. This is a game changer for me. If I can't stay remote, I may have to quit this job." And that's how, especially a lot of millennials that I'm reading about are saying and doing. If I can't, if they're not working, they're saying, "Look, if I can't be remote, I'm not taking this job." Or if they are remote, they're like, "I'm not coming back to the job. I don't feel like it's safe. I have diabetes. I have, whatever. I don't know. Could be anything." But I'm reading a lot of it. It's the new gold. This is what people high up there next to the salary. Pay me what I'm worth, number one. But then the flexibility is the new gold. It's what people are like. It's the new game breaker.
Right.
Another way of saying it. Or deal breaker.
Yeah. And to add on to the point of people not going back to work, especially here in North Carolina, we have a lot of physical jobs, job that you have to use your body and this, that, whether it's furniture or construction or working at Coca-Cola or Pepsi, you know what I'm saying, merchandising and
warehouse,
warehouse type of jobs. And a lot of folk, especially younger than us, are like, nah, we not about that life.
Right.
We not about that physical life. We not about that. We're not going to go out, because I didn't go to college to work in your furniture factory, or merchandise your sodas, or work on the roof of these houses. No, we didn't. Nah, I need to be in front of a computer all day and sit in this cubicle, or sit home remotely and do what I need to do. And that has a lot to do with it also, that the physicality of work is gone. People are not trying to do that anymore. You see what I'm saying?
It's about the principle, Smokey.
It's principalities. It's about the principalities, Smokey. Principalities. But yeah, it's just, back in the day, we saw our fathers and our mothers do these strenuous jobs on their bodies for 10, 12 hours a day, or however long. And again, this generation, nah, we're not. We're using our brains. We're going to use our heads to literally get ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, and I think that has something to do with it also. And so there's going to have to be some kind of balance between employers and employees at some point.
Right.
At some point, there's going to have to be some kind of balance, because right now the pandemic has put employers and employees at an imbalance right now.
True.
Because employees are like, future employees are like, I know my worth. You're gonna pay me my worth. And employers are like, we've been running the game forever. Oh, now you want to come and try to flip the game up. But then on top of that, they really don't have a choice but to pay people now. Because if not, your business is gonna close.
Now there was one celebrity, I can't remember who it was, but they was like, COVID was the great equalizer, and she caught a lot of. I think it was Madonna, and she caught a lot of backlash on that statement. But I mean, if you really sit down and look at this thing, it kind of was. It kind of was because it, like I said, it got people to reflect and think about where they were and what they were trying to do. Is like it was the standstill that most corporations really didn't want to see. Exactly. They don't want you to sit down and reflect on your life and be like, hey, I can do better. They want you to stay in this rat race.
Yeah, go.
That's it. So they can keep you where they are. But it gave people a lot of chance, a lot of time and opportunity to think about, what they wanted for their life and how they wanted to go about doing it. And so now, like I said, you got a lot of entrepreneurs that have been birthed out of this situation. And now a lot of companies and corporations are kind of on their heels. This has been the first time in a while where they have not been in control.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But to our detriment as a society, everything is going up except for our paychecks. Everything is going up. Gas, food, everything is going up. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the restaurants. All the prices are going up. They don't have enough people to work there, and they're trying to recoup from these bad quarters that they've had, during the pandemic. And then, like I know, a lot of companies, restaurants, organizations have closed for good. They just couldn't keep it open.
Right. Yeah, especially like mom and pop type situation. Your local restaurant, your local, place you could go to, get that good food, as we call them in our culture, them hole in the walls.
Hole in the walls, yeah.
Them hole in the wall. They got the best food.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Treat you like family.
I know that's right. What do you say? Look. If your little hometown restaurant ain't got 3 bullet holes in it, that food in the wall, that food probably ain't that good. That
ain't that good.
But yeah, man, a lot of especially in my area, a lot of mom and pop, long-standing institutions that were local institutions, especially like in the restaurant business, have had to shut down because of this pandemic. Right. Because, they just couldn't, we're not McDonald's, we're not Burger King, we're not, Taco Bell or whatever. We're a very close-knit, community type of restaurant or whatever business. And they just couldn't, last through the pandemic. And that's one of the bad things that, this pandemic has brought us, not only because of, what it is, the COVID-19, what it actually is as a disease and how it's, killed millions of people, but also from a business aspect of, people are losing their businesses, but because of it. But again, it's just a situation where, like you said, Chad, or Madonna, whoever you were quoting, this pandemic has become a equalizer as far as employer and employee. Because people are now looking at it as, look, I have options now. If you're not willing to pay me X, Y, and Z, this company over here is, and they will. So guess what? That's where I'm going. Or if you can't give me the flexibility that this company can, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. I'm going to that company. I'm leaving you and going to that company. So it's a lot of imbalance right now. But again, the market will figure itself out. It always does. So some of these companies are going to have to sacrifice, some flexibility, pay people more, give more people flexibility. So I mean, so now it looks like the employee has the control as of right now. So
yeah. And the thing is, with a lot of, I'm not saying all, but a lot of these companies, bigger companies, maybe not the smaller ones, but a lot of the bigger companies can afford to pay this money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? excuse me, it may mean that, okay, we won't be able to give out bonuses. Okay, that's fine. If I feel like I'm getting paid what I'm worth or very close to what I'm worth,
On the
I'm
front
good
end.
on the
On the
front end.
front
Right.
end. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have to wait to the end of the year and hope to get a lump sum. And then it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
You know
You
what
can
I'm
spread,
saying?
you can spread that little money,
You
that
can,
little bit of money across the out throughout the year.
exactly. I don't need an employee party. I don't need a $30 or $50, gift card.
Mm-hmm.
Pay me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pay me. And we're
Yeah.
good.
And we good. Yeah. Yeah.
So I just feel like a lot of these companies are I don't say that, but I'm glad that they're having to pay people,
Mm-hmm.
what they're worth.
Right.
And so they just have to deal with that. So all right, anything else on that, Pete? So
No, I
nobody
think.
wants to work.
Or they do want to work, but they're going to work at their price point.
Right. They get the
Mhm.
leg up this time in negotiations.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. All right, Pete, let's move into the NBA finals.
Okay.
NBA finals. So now we have a new champion that is their first time in I believe like 50 years
Yeah. Mhm.
since they won a championship. And for those of you who don't know, the Milwaukee Bucks are the NBA world champions. The Greek Freak put up a very impressive performance
That-
that night.
That's
He put up a
historic.
yes, historic one for the ages. He dropped a
Mm-hmm.
50 piece
Mm-hmm.
on the Phoenix Suns just to
On
put a
they
stamp on them.
on their head. He put a 50 burger on their head.
He did by himself, and the score was what 100. I
I
can't
can't
remember what the
remember.
score was,
Yeah.
but he put up over half, or if not at least half.
Yeah.
So, but so
And
Pete,
with no 3-pointers.
with no 3-pointers. That's
Right.
so were they just that good, Pete, or did Phoenix just have a meltdown? And because I'm hearing that Milwaukee was just too big for them, which I happen to believe.
Mm-hmm.
They were just too big for them, and
Yeah.
maybe more firepower, more will.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It just to me it just seemed like Phoenix. They got to the big show and was like, well, what do we do now? And then Milwaukee was like, let me show you.
Yeah. I mean, coming out, Phoenix was on fire. Taking the first 2 games, which
Yeah.
had a lot of people like, okay, what is Milwaukee going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you have to let things play out. So, and especially with Giannis's injury coming into the
That's
final.
game 3, right? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
well, their previous series, and
Yeah.
they didn't know if he was going to be able to play the finals
Right.
because when your knee goes backwards, when your knee points the other way, you're
Mhm.
not supposed to play. You're supposed to be getting surgery or something because you
Mhm.
done tore your whole knee out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You done tore your ACL, MCL, PCL,
Oh,
ESPN,
that's right. That was against
all of that.
Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
I forgot.
So
Okay, yeah.
So to all you should have, but for whatever reason, he's the Terminator, a bionic man, or
The
whatever.
Greek Freak.
Yeah, because regular folk, we have to go get a knee replacement after what after you saw
And
what
about
his
a year rehab.
I
Yeah.
know that's right. After you saw the way his knee went, your knee is not
Mhm.
supposed to bend that way.
Right.
But with the questions of Giannis, was he going to play? Was he not going to play? He did play. He didn't play too well the first game, of course, because you just coming off that knee. Second game he played better, but they still lost. But something happened in game 3, man. That guy come to play,
Yeah.
bruh. I mean, the last 4 games from game 3 through 6,
Mhm.
Giannis's numbers are historic. I mean, historic numbers that he put up. That's hard to stop, man. We talked about the last podcast that we were on. You were giving
Ayton.
DeAndre Ayton a hard time. Chad, you guard that man. That man just put up 50 points, man. I got DeAndre's back on this one, man. You guard that man, Chad.
Now you remember that night when the game was going on? I said, did he just try to put a layup on Giannis in the paint? Did he just compete? He tried to put a layup on Giannis. You cannot do that.
And that's what he was dealing with, bruh. It was like, okay, when you play football and you play. Did you play corner?
No, wide out.
Wide out. Okay. Mm-hmm. You played wide out, and you go out and you warm up, and then you find out that Deion Sanders is on the other side of the ball.
I'm licking my chops.
Yeah, right.
I'm dead serious. Look, it's just like when Iverson played against Jordan. Mm-hmm. When you playing against your idol, your biggest thing is I gotta show up. Mm-hmm. I can't look like no punk.
I get that. Okay, but guess what? You might be licking your chops, but you ain't getting no catches. See, that's the difference. Yeah, you excited. Hey, you
don't know what can happen. Hey, you don't know what can happen.
Yeah, you ain't getting no catches. Nah, you ain't getting no catches. You should look. He's shutting that whole side of the field down with you on it. But not just play. But yeah, I mean,
hey, that's facts though.
But that's fact. But that's what DeAndre Ayton was dealing with, and that's what Phoenix was dealing with. They were dealing with a guy that once he started downhill, you can't stop that guy. Mm-hmm. During, I think it was game 4. It was either game 4 or 5. I tweeted out, why are they not doubling this guy on the catch? As soon they would send double teams after he's taken 2, 3, 4
dribbles. Then people swarm in.
And then he's going downhill at that point.
Right, because you're going to catch the foul.
Exactly. He's already going downhill.
Right.
So why not, okay, whoever's guarding P.J. Tucker. Mm-hmm. Look, if P.J. Tucker beat me to win the finals, it wasn't meant for me to win. But Giannis is not going to beat me. I'm going to do everything in my power for Giannis not to beat me. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't understand why Monty Williams didn't have this. They wasn't doubling on the catch, because a lot of his catches was mid-post, post. And if he wasn't bringing the ball up court. So again, I don't care where PJ Tucker is. If you guarding PJ, as soon as he catches it, go get him. Okay. It is what it is, but yeah, I mean, Giannis was spectacular, man. It was unbelievable. And my big question was, where did Chris Paul go?
Man, I was just about to bring that up. I mean, it's like from game 3 on, he just kept becoming more and more of a ghost. I mean, I don't know what he couldn't hit his favorite shots anymore that he could hit.
It wasn't to me. It wasn't that he couldn't hit them. He wasn't taking them. That little dribble to the right, get to the elbow, 15-foot fade away. Mm-hmm. He had that on several occasions, and he just wasn't taking shots. And I didn't realize until after the game, and I looked at the box score, he scored 26 in game 6. Where?
Right. I did not see that.
That just lets you know how little of impact that he had.
And that's the thing that bothers me.
Yeah, it was impactful points. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing that bothered me because of the fact of him being such a veteran on that team.
Yeah.
You know, as a veteran, you know there's more than one way to impact a game. Mm-hmm. If your shooting ain't off, you can play great defense, you can play great ball away from the ball and still, will your team to win. But I saw none of that. It was like he just wasn't there. I mean, I don't know what was going on. Mm-hmm. And then game 3 or 4, they started picking Chris up at half court or even before.
Yeah. Game 3.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Drew Holiday. Yeah, they made the adjustment and put Drew Holiday on him, and Drew Holiday was picking him up 94 feet. He was picking him up 94 feet.
Every time he touched the ball as far as inbounding, they made him work to get all the way down the court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna make this thing tough for you, so you don't get these, these open looks, and you're by the time it's fourth quarter, you're tired because I've hounded you for 94 feet for 3 quarters. Mm-hmm. So that same shot you were making, in the first quarter or trying to attempt in the first quarter it's not the same shot.
And maybe that's what it was, Pete. You said he wasn't taking them shots. That's probably because he was tired.
Well, I don't know what it was, but it was just too much Giannis, man. He was just a dominant force. I
He
mean,
was.
this was Shaq like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's how historic this was. I mean, this dude dropped 50 in a closeout game. A closeout.
That's how you close out. That's how you
Bruh,
put people away.
bruh, what are you saying?
Yeah.
And now all the Antetokounmpo brothers have a title. All three of them.
Can
All
you
three of
imagine
them.
being their mom and dad? How proud must they be to know that all three of their sons in the NBA and they all are champions?
Mm-hmm.
Who else has a family like that? In sports family. Oh, the man. Well, no, because the dad don't have a ring.
Yeah. Archie doesn't have a ring.
Well,
I mean, Eli and Peyton does.
But the kids do, because
yeah,
you know, Giannis and his brothers got rings. So I guess we can't look at it like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Peyton and
Eli.
Yeah, they both have rings. So
Mm-hmm.
That's the only ones I can really think of. I don't know of any family like that. That is a huge accomplishment. It's really just hitting me. It's like, wow.
Mm-hmm. And then you look at all the NBA greats that don't have titles, and this and Giannis has been in the league.
What,
this
8?
This is his
No.
8th year.
Is it 8?
Seventh or 8th year. 7th or 8th year. So he was the first brother there. So,
but his brother in LA got his ring first.
Yeah, he got his ring last year.
Yeah.
So, and then within a matter of 7 years, all of your siblings, you and your siblings have titles.
Well, not only that, Pete. Let's focus on for a second the Milwaukee Bucks, because I heard Jalen Rose say something at the end of the series.
Mm-hmm.
No. Before Game 6 even started, he said, if Milwaukee wins this game and they become champions, this is a testament to all rings are not created equal. I don't know if you caught that when he said that.
Okay.
So basically, to me, let me say this. He's throwing shots at creating super teams.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was saying Giannis and the organization built this team from the ground up. They didn't go in and get a bunch of superstars to try to get a quick ring. They built this from the ground up, starting with Giannis and then Middleton, and they started bringing in some other people. And 8 years later, because you said I think he's been in the league by 9 years or whatever. 8 years later, they get a championship. So Jalen was saying that if they do win, because of how they did stuff, all rings are not created equal.
No.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the perception of the ring. No, all rings are created equal, because if we win, we win. I mean, I don't care.
That's how I looked at it. I mean, yeah, right.
But
you still got to play who's in front of you.
But the perception from the media and perception from fans or whatever, which don't really matter.
Is it really more hate though?
Yeah, I think it is, because it started with LeBron going to Miami and got that big 3, and then KD joined Golden State, and then of course, even though Golden State won before,
right? They really didn't need him.
I mean, and then of course, LeBron going back to Cleveland, then leaving Cleveland, going to LA, and getting an AD coming and all this other stuff. So from a perception standpoint, from fans and media members or whatever, yeah, it's not created equal, but whatever, man. I want the
all
best
I know is
I got a ring.
Right. I'm gonna say all I know is when it comes time to sit down and talk about champions, I always got a seat at the table. I don't care how you look at it.
That's right. I mean, when you announce me, you announce me as NBA champion or Super Bowl champion.
Exactly.
Or World Series champion.
That's it.
That's how you introduce me.
Mm-hmm.
So you can think about whatever, however you want to think about it. I have rings. So
because my thing is this, it's like however the team is formed, you still got to get through a whole season. There's always injuries, setbacks, things of that nature. So I thought about what he said, and I'm like, man, he may have a point. But then I was like, what I just said, you still got to play who's in front of you. You don't know who's going to show up that night and really, be a game changer. So there's a lot of unknown X factors that come into, these situations that can really upset a situation. You thinking this team was the dream team, and then, they play a regular team and it just happens to be their night.
I mean, you look at Brooklyn. Everybody had already penciled Brooklyn in when KD and Harden and Kyrie got together. They had already penciled them into the finals. Good example.
Yep.
Guess what? Injuries. Things happen. You look at the Lakers. It was going to be Brooklyn, LA for the finals. And people had already penciled in. Guess what? Both get hurt. AD got hurt. Guess what? They got bounced. Right. So
the big three with Brooklyn, all three of them on the same court. They didn't all three get on the same court for a while, I believe, because it was always one of them that was injured.
Yeah, I think they played like a total of, I think it was like maybe 20 games together out of the full season. Out of the full season. They played 20 games together where they were all three healthy and on the court at the same time. So, I mean, hey, things happen, man, and congratulations to the Bucks and Giannis and all those guys, or PJ Tucker from the 919.
That's right.
From that Raleigh Durham area, that 919, PJ Tucker. So
I didn't know that until the finals when they were talking about that. So I had no idea.
Yeah. So yeah, those guys showed and proved and had a historic run by Giannis, and man, he has put himself in a very, very, very small class to win MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA title, and NBA Finals MVP. It's only two other cats that's ever done that. Mike and Hakeem. It's Hakeem Olajuwon, Mike Jordan, and Giannis.
Wow.
The only three in that group.
That's a nice group. That's a very impressive group.
I'm trying to tell you that's what I was saying. That's historic, man. What he did this year was, I mean, historic.
So, you think Bobby Portis is gonna stay around?
Oh gosh, yeah. They love Bobby Portis and his crazy eyes.
Boy, he's like a doggone serial killer.
Bobby Portis will hurt you, buddy. He will hurt. Ask what's old boy? Nick. It was Vujacic. Who did he knocked out somebody when he was in Chicago? It was one of them cats there in practice. He knocked out one of his own teammates in practice. Bobby Portis ain't about these games, man.
He's not.
Arkansas. That's Arkansas, man. That's Arkansas talking to you.
Yeah, he scared me during that interview at the end of the game. But I'm like, this cat here. I was chilling at home with my mama.
With my mama. Whoa. Why you live with your mama, dog?
Yo, grown man, bro. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I know you done made a little bit of money.
So let me ask you. So he said he was depressed because he didn't make the team that went to the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know much about when they was playing in the bubble. It's like, did they only get only a select few from the team could go play?
Oh, nah, your whole team could play, but I'm not really sure what his situation was and why he wasn't. Because I can't remember. Was he still with Chicago then? I think he was still. No, he had gotten traded. So yeah, he was with Milwaukee. So I'm not really sure why he didn't make the bubble trip.
Other than maybe he had COVID.
Maybe he had COVID, or maybe that's the reason why, or whatever. But he specifically said that he wasn't able to make the bubble. So
right.
Yeah. So for him to be able to come back and be on the team and go from a guy who really wasn't playing in the playoffs. In the beginning of the playoffs, Bobby Portis wasn't seeing the floor.
Right.
And then they inserted him in, and he put up numbers, and he was productive, and he played great defense. He
played to the crowd.
Yeah. So, I mean, he gave them a spark. So
he did.
As my father used to say, if be ready so you don't have to get ready.
That's right.
Be ready. Yeah, be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, be ready so you don't have to get ready. So, I mean, he played a pivotal role in these finals, and I was glad to see old Arkansas Bobby get him a ring. But yeah, finals were great, very competitive finals. I know a lot of people were talking trash about it because, of course, LeBron wasn't in it or KD wasn't in it, blah 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 blah. No really big names were in it outside of Giannis, of course, and Chris Paul. But very competitive finals. I thought they were great. I thought they were great.
But you know what? It's like usually when the finals come around, there's always some tension between the teams. Sometimes you'll see a fight break out, or some trash talking. This was one of the cleanest finals I ever saw. There was no intensity in that aspect, and a lot of people were saying, "Well, that's because neither one of them were expected to be there."
Exactly, and it was all hoops.
Yes, it was.
We just out here hooping. That's what we doing. We hooping. So, which was great, and like I said, the games were really good. They were really competitive. So, I mean, there's not a lot you can say about it. Only thing that you can say, there was no big stars in it or whatever, but you got a great finals out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You got a great finals out of it.
We did. I just wish the Suns could have put up more of an effort. I don't know if the bright lights got a hold of them, but I don't know. But it just seemed like they were like deer caught in headlights. Like, what do we do now? They were just struggling they were struggling from all aspects of the game. I don't know. Booker tried to get something going, but he was irrelevant. Chris Paul was a no-show. I can't get on Ayton.
Bro, how that man irrelevant? This man is putting up 40 points a game. Man, take your football helmet off, man. Take your football helmet.
They won 4 straight. The Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay, they won 4 straight. I get that, but you can't say they wasn't competitive. They wasn't in the games, but I mean, because all the games were single-digit games, so you can't say that it wasn't like these games were blowouts. They were beating them by 20.
Yeah, so but they were competitive. To me, the score don't always tell the game. You know what I'm saying? Watching the game, they won by 8 or 6 points. I mean, but when you watch the game, it's like, where the hell are they? Where are they at?
They were there. They just got beat. I mean, it happened. Somebody got to win. Somebody got to lose.
Right.
They were there. I mean, maybe it's you wanting Phoenix to win. Maybe that's why you look at it like that.
Well, no, okay. I'm gonna be full transparency. I did want Phoenix to win, but I'm saying watching them play in the Atlanta series and before that, they just look way more dominant than they did coming up against Milwaukee. It's like when they hit Milwaukee, it's like, we don't have no answers for A, B, and C. It's like we just what do we do?
How many people have answers for Giannis? What team would have stopped Giannis?
But see,
that level of Giannis.
Right, but it goes back to what you were saying earlier about doubling him. Mm-hmm. If you're going to win, which you probably will, you're gonna beat me without Giannis. It's just like NFL or football, if you will, period. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. If you guys are going to beat us, you're not going to beat us with him. In other words, what we're saying is we're not going to let them have time in the backfield for him to pick us apart. Mm-hmm. We're going to rush him. We're going to get him to the ground to where all he can do is do handoffs and maybe some, out of the backfield screen passes. You're not going to beat us downfield. If you beat us, it's going to be on your run game. It's not going to be the pass. And that's where I'm going with, with that. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to beat us, you're not going to beat us with the best player you got. We're going to make you. If you beat us with the other players, that's just something we got to live with. Like you said earlier, it just wasn't meant for it to be. But you're not going to beat us with Brady. You're not going to beat us with Peyton Manning. You're not going to beat us with Breeze or Bridgewater or your boy from Baltimore.
Lamar Jackson.
You're not gonna beat us with him. You're gonna have to beat us somewhere else. We can't let you have that.
But that's easy to say.
It is
harder to do.
True.
So, I mean, even if they and even if you use the concept of doubling Giannis off on the catch, he still may put up 35. He may not give you 50.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna give you a smooth 30, 35. Okay, I mean,
you said a smooth
30, 35. So I mean, but yeah, like I said, I thought it was an excellent finals. I thought it was competitive, and I mean, kudos to Milwaukee and those guys up there. The Drew Holidays and those guys, the Bobby Portises and those guys. They have rings now, so you can't take that away from them.
Indeed. All right, folks, we're gonna wrap this thing up. But before we do, Pete, is there a book of the week?
Oh, not this week.
Do you have? Okay. Because I didn't get one in time. When I thought about it, it was last minute. But okay, so we will definitely have a book for you guys next podcast. But I want to go ahead and give you the Bible verse or quote for today, and we're coming from Hebrews chapter 13, verse 8, and it's plain and simple. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So things change and people change, but the good Lord never changes. So that's one thing we can take solace in. No matter what's going on, just know that the Lord up above is always the same. He never changes. Always available, always dependable, always faithful. So, any last words, my brother?
To our listeners and our viewers, stay safe. As always, as we always say, keep your head on the swivel. Protect yourself at all times. I mean, that's it. Protect your family. Love your family. Love your friends. Protect your friends. Yeah. That's it for me.
For me, I would just say, let's just do less judging and more loving.
All right.
There's only one judge, so let's judge a little less and love a little more. All right, folks. Well, that's it for us. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Our Voice 360, Our Perspectives, Our Ways. Take care, be blessed, be safe, and we are out.
Peace.
If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when a new show drops. Please rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. Also, if you'd like to advertise or become a sponsor, please send an email to ourvoice360@gmail.com with your inquiry. We'll connect with you as soon as possible in hopes of creating a great partnership. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Our Voice 360, our perspectives, our way, keeping you in the know while you're on the go. See you next week.